How are you?
I really, really, really appreciate you doing this last minuteness with me.
Oh, well, that's what I'm good for. I'm,
Well,
I'm pretty spur of the moment. I can do whatever you need.
we talked on Indigenous Peoples Day, as everybody remembers, and that was focused on education and projects you've done, but it was just a whole different thing. So now we get to toot your horn and go through your resume and talk about your past productions, your current productions, and I've seen links about film fests and selection of the something, and I, I I'm excited.
Oh, good. So are we.
Slash bored, I'm out of things to watch, so this is great timing.
Good. Good.
So where do you want to start? I wore my hoopa hoops,
All right. Look at that. Hoopa hoops.
represent. And I think it gets confusing in media. You watch something on television and 10 different things go up there, 10 different logos. So you have On Native Ground, which is yours, but then you work with the Hoopa Youth and Rise. Am I kind of even close?
Well, no. So on native ground,
Well, no. Okay.
on native ground is a tribal Hoopa tribal nonprofit organization,
Okay.
and we work with youth all over the United States. So we'll travel, like in 2017, we traveled to South Dakota and worked with a bunch of South Dakota youth, making short films with them. But I'd say over the last 20 years, at least once every year, I make a short video with the Rise kids. Most of them are based out of Alturas, and Rise is a group which is founded by Dr. April Lee Goforth. And so we've been working for the last 20 years, and we make a lot of videos, prevention videos. So they're either alcohol prevention, smoking prevention, vaping prevention. We had some on HIV prevention. So we do a wide range of youth prevention films, and most of the kids, or most of the stars of the film, are these youth that we pull in from different tribes to be in the shows.
Well, that's amazing. So, do you have your own production company thing, or is it all under the On Native Ground? Because
It's
now
all
I'm keeping track of your kids' stuff, and now I'm keeping track of yours. I just help me help you. Help me
yes.
help.
So pretty much everything is under the umbrella of On Native Ground, which I'm the executive director of.
Okay.
But this past year, when COVID started, I built basically a film studio out of this 3-car garage we have in the back. So now I have my own sound audio studio, as well as a film studio with a huge blue screen. So we've already shot a whole bunch of music videos in the studio, and I had the Rise kids come down, and we filmed a bunch of PSAs in the new studio. So it's really great. Now it's right here in my house. We don't necessarily have to travel anywhere to do anything. We could do it right here.
Oprah status.
Yeah. So okay. So RISE stands for Resources in Indian Student Education, and they get a lot of money from the TOOP program, which is Tobacco Use Prevention Education, through the state of California. And then they also get funding from other grants. And Dr. April Lee Goforth is the main grant writer, and she's the director of RISE. So we work really well together. In fact, we just finished 2 more videos, which I'll submit to next year's film festivals. One was about vaping, teens and vaping, and then another one on alcohol prevention. But we always try to do some sort of add in some sort of theme or make it fun for the kids, so it's more like a film and not necessarily a documentary style.
Well, and it's nobody wants to get lectured at, but expand upon. Everybody knows smoking's bad for you. Any ethnicity, any age, anybody, okay, fine, smoking's bad. But alcohol, seems to wreak a special kind of havoc amongst the indigenous communities. Can you expand upon that a little bit? I mean, like, why bother making a PSA?
Um, well, it does. I mean, alcohol is easy to get for youth. Um, Although nowadays, there's certain drugs that are easier to get than alcohol for some of these youth. So we just try to focus on those issues that are affecting young people and trying to put them on the right path. And a lot of these kids, we pull them into the program, and then after they get a taste of being in front of the camera or behind the camera, and they go, "Hey, this is a lot better than drinking or smoking or this is and it's productive," and they see the benefit that it gives to their peers and how they feel after it's finished, and they see it up on the screen. So we were lucky enough to be we got selected in 3 film festivals so far. So three of our, well, actually 3 films that On Native Ground has worked on. One of them is called Lead the Way, and it's another production funded by the Tobacco Use Prevention Education Program. It focuses on traditional use of tobacco in Native communities, and the kids are presenting all these short little videos that I sort of scrunched together into a documentary, and it shows the path of these youth and how they've grown over the last year and a half in their acting, in the way they approach, and the way they talk about tobacco. And they also presented at the California Indian Education Conference last year to all these adults. And so it's really a journey. It's sort of like a coming of age documentary of these kids and how they grew by becoming educators of, prevention use with tobacco products. So that was a lot of fun.
That is incredible. Well, no, because again, it's more than you shouldn't smoke, kids, blah, 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 like a lecture. But when you understand the tobacco and the tie to your culture and what it's for and how it's sacred, you don't want to just blah, 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 it changes the perspective of that and your relationship to that thing.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that replacing it with something else. You're not just, because kids tune that out all the time. I don't care how many cartoons or bells and whistles or raps you put over it. It gets old.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. This is a big deal.
It is for the kids too. So, and then in one of these videos, so the girls sang a traditional song, and then I took their song, and it was a song they made up. I took their song, it was just to drumming, and then I added in some bass and some music, and I turned it into a hip hop Native song.
Awesome.
And that got submitted to the Native American Music Awards, and we're still waiting to hear back on that one. And so I sent it to you. I'll send it to you again. Maybe you can play it, but it's called Don't Abuse the Medicine.
I've played that 9,000 times. I didn't know where it came from.
Oh yeah,
it was just in my posh of. I played that song like 4 times.
Yes, so that's from the youth. Those were all high school girls who sang that song, and it came out of one of our gatherings together when we were filming, and then they drummed the song, and I recorded the song, and then it turned into this bigger production.
No, I need to pass it. Another radio producer who listens to my show liked that song. And they're like, "What's the song?" And I was like, "Ma, this is all the information I got. So do you mind if I just keep sharing? Like, I'm going to pass it around. People are digging it."
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's super.
That's good to know. So, oops.
So that song is in one of these videos called Lead the Way. It Lead the Way, and then there's another production we did called The Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women PSA. And we were lucky enough, I got a hold of Tamara Podemski.
Oh.
And she has a song called Stand Strong. And she let us use that song as the background for this. It's sort of like a music video PSA about the murdered and missing Indigenous issue that's going on in the United States and in Canada. So she let us use her song, and then we were able to get a hold of Deb Haaland, the congresswoman from New Mexico.
Yeah.
And so she read she did a whole 3-minute speech on the
She did.
yeah, on the so she helped get this bill passed in Congress, and so she explained the bill, and so that's part of this PSA also is her speech. So that's also playing at the LA Skins Film Festival. It played at the American Indian Film Festival, which started last weekend and runs through this weekend.
So give those out so people can watch these through these online film festivals.
Correct. Yes. So there's the LA Skins Film Festival. And then there's the American Indian Film Festival. And then there's the Native Visions Film Festival. And all these are online. Let's see, the LA Skins Film Festival begins November 18th. And the Native Visions Film Festival begins December 3rd. And then the other exciting thing is that, so last October, a year ago, one of my other former students who was a senior at the Dodge Film School, he asked On Native Ground to help him produce his thesis film for the Dodge Film School. So a bunch of us drove down to LA. We shot it with a whole bunch of, there was a 30-man crew on this shoot. And it's called Intrepidus, and that's also in the LA Skins Film Festival this year. And that's starring Michael Horse and Justin Rain and Chata Elam and Izzy Dixon.
Is that this terrifying thing that you tagged me in?
That's the terrifying thing. So it's a short, it's like a 20-minute film, 25-minute film. But it does go into, I mean, it's using some historical reference to bounty hunters, but it's inserted into this horror film. And that's one way that filmmakers, young native filmmakers, are learning how to pull in the younger generation to learn about their past by putting in this information of stuff that happened in our past in like horror films and action films. And so they're trying to slowly, teach the younger generation about what happened through these different mediums and these film techniques.
Cool. So do you make any films that aren't like depressing? I'm looking through this like, So the LA Skins Film Festival, do you know anything about, can you just log in, buy a ticket, watch your stuff all day? Do you know anything about, I haven't done anything
online. So the way the online works is you log in, and usually these films are in blocks. So you pay for a block of films, and then you can watch them anytime between a certain amount of days.
Oh.
So you can buy a block of short films or a couple feature films. Usually they're all bunched together in these blocks, and then you can watch them anytime after you purchase the, I guess they send you like a password so you can sign in and watch them.
No, when things go live at a 4 p.m. Central Time on a Tuesday, I can't just, so that's cool that it's at your leisure, so this next couple days when it's raining and you want to just pet the dog and watch some On Native Ground and Rise Productions knock yourself out. Some Insipidus and Trepidus. I'm scared.
Which was directed and written by Alex Greenlee, one of my students in 2013, when he was a middle school student. That's when I first met him, and he's been making films with us up until he moved to LA. And then this film, in fact, he's been trying to get funding to make a whole feature film out of this short film. So it's a really good film. It's got a great cast in the film.
I'm gonna watch it. Now there's very few things I'm afraid of. One of them is the Predator, and your advertisement on the film looks like the Predator. So I'm getting like, because I'll be outside camping somewhere, and I always look up at the trees for the glimmer. So I really want to support this kid, but I'm kind of alone tonight, so I don't really want to.
Yeah.
And people, please don't play on. I don't know why I told everybody one of my deepest fears. So more film. And now then you're not stopping this COVID thing. If it continues forever, you're not done. You have your own film studio, sound studio. You're bringing the kids in. You're still creating content to share.
Correct. We've been creating content this whole since COVID. I mean, we take more precautions.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's been really great having my own studio. And then, because once you're inside the studio, you know, by yourself, you can take off your mask, you can sing, and then you put the mask back on, and you come out of the studio. And we all sit outside in the bigger room when we're recording. So, and the same thing with the film studio. So, in fact, when COVID started, I built this huge. I took a rolling a cart that you hang clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 6 feet tall, and it's about maybe 8 feet wide. And I covered it in a clear sheet. I taped it off and made like a blockage, so we can set up the camera, get everything set up, and then walk behind the plastic sheet, and then the actors can take their masks off, and we can film inside rooms, which is pretty cool.
It's resilience. No, figuring it out, because a lot of things in the world have halted. And the fact that you're working with youth and they get to stay sane, creating,
Yes.
having something to do, having something to share, and now having something into film festivals. Hachi Machi. Are you going to have a little social distance red carpet somewhere?
No, probably not. I mean, film festivals are a lot of fun when in non-COVID times, because they're just fun to be at, and there's a lot of energy and excitement, and you meet lots of new people. And that's where I've met a lot of actors that we've used along the way. And we meet organizations like Rise and other youth groups that are looking to make films and don't know how to do it. And that's what I've done for the last 20 years, is just work with youth and teach them how to make their own films. And a lot of my students have gone on. Two of them went on to the New York Film School. Alex went to the Dodge Film School in LA. Some went to UCLA, and so it's great to hear them, moving on with filmmaking and telling stories. This is a new form of storytelling, so we've come from sitting around a fire listening to our elders to now they're able to make films about hopefully their tribes that'll last for forever.
Well, let's be real. Hollywood has recycled, redone, reused their stories and remade the movie 750,000 times.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a whole bunch of stories that nobody knows yet. Like, you know what I mean? We really are. I mean, it's sad that we have a lot of these stories suck, but the fact is it's safe now to come out and we have fresh material and ideas and perspectives that I feel the industry is hungry for.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you're like this little machine pumping them out, freaking out the squares, man. So I'm wondering though, in your MMIW video PSA, Kohler wrote a song about murdered and missing Indigenous women, and she just didn't make the cut. It wasn't good enough for your PSA. What's going on with that?
No, so we made this PSA before she wrote that song.
Okay, I'm just sitting there like, dang, Daddy's like a harsh critic.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, kiddo, not this time.
No, we shot that film about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And then I had it finished, edited last January, and then like a month later, then Kohler wrote her song. And she was part of a lot of the filming that we were doing also when we were making that film with the kids. So maybe that might have, got some juices flowing in her as far as
inspiring.
Yeah.
Well, again, these are not, there's a lot of uncomfortable things we have to talk about. So the fact that you're trying to change the perspective on how we express and absorb this information and reflect a little culture in it is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, like, is next Jack Kohler life coach? Like, well, don't do this and don't do that. Not well, teach us how to have fun, man. You just took everything away. God.
Well, we had so I've been working on a film project for the last 10 years called Red Road to Nirvana. Red
Ooh.
Road to Nirvana. And it's a comedy. But we're just waiting, and we were so close to getting funding right before COVID hit, but it's about a $5 million film. And we already have the cast. We just need to
Yeah, you almost have the cast.
almost, yeah.
But
So we're just waiting on some funding opportunities, and then we're going to hopefully start filming that. But
well, that was a segue into my next question. How can the community support or engage what you're trying to do with the youth on native ground and Rise? You take donations, more slave labor. How do you do this?
Yeah, we take both.
You need a gaffer.
Yes. So if you go to onnativeground.org, you can see a lot of these films. I have them up there for free. So you can see a lot of the films that we've made with Rise over the last 20 years. There's some documentaries that have been on PBS. We also do a lot of documentaries about water issues too. So we have like 4 documentaries that deal with water issues with 4 different tribes. So best thing is just to go to our website, and then.
Now, is it on native as in spelled NATIVE, or is it like the N8V?
No, it's native as in NATIVE.
Sorry for making a spell. Well, you know how they do the native for the native. So I just, wanted to take people in the right direction. Now, water. We all drink water. I don't care if you're racist or ethnic or religious. Everybody drinks water.
We do. Yeah. So my very first documentary that I started working on was like in 2000. And that's when I was just beginning to switch over to filmmaking. That became more of my full-time job. And it wasn't until at the time I was working up in Hoopa with a group of youth. We were making short films, and I hadn't worked on any really big projects yet. I was still just gathering even my skills.
Yeah.
And my tribal chairman, because I'm a Hoopa tribal member, he came up to me and says, "We really need a video about the issues going on our river." And that really sparked me into momentum. And so that movie, it took 8 years to make, but it's called River of Renewal. And it's all about the Klamath dams and the issues with the Klamath dams, dealing with the fishermen and the farmers, all the tribes. There's 5 different tribes that live along the Klamath River or need the water from the Klamath River. And then there's Bureau of Reclamations. There's Westland's agricultural district, which was sucking all the water down to the San Joaquin Valley from our river. So anyways, that got onto PBS and was in 2013. It was one of the most watched Native American documentaries in the world. It screened like 2,000 times. And you can see that's on our website also. On
Native Ground or on the Hoopa?
No, that's on Native Ground.
Perfect. So is that like the hub? That's like the go-to nice central hub?
That's the hub, yeah.
On your said hub or on Facebook, where are the links to the film festivals? Are those on Facebook or are those on the website?
Oh, mostly on Facebook. I don't have any of the links on. In fact, maybe I should do that. I'll see if I can go on there and put the links on the website.
Yes, I'm just asking because I was making notes, yet I cannot read my own handwriting. So that's why I wanted to, make sure I can properly tag, because this is exciting. They have till this weekend for one of the film festivals to end. So
That's
there's
right.
kind of get it together, people.
Yeah. So that's the American
You're gonna have
Indian.
weather. You're gonna want to watch, TV with the blanket, see some depressing PSAs, but it's all right. It's Jack Kohler. So, on the native ground, because I shifted gears. Do you guys take donations? Do you guys take sponsors? How can the generalized community help fund
Well, we
fund
do
this
we do
session?
take donations. We do have a donation button on our website. What we really need is like a tribe that wants to be part of our production for Red Road to Nirvana, because it's such a huge production. And that's what we're really trying to do is we need some more tribal presence in our executive producers. So we're looking right now for a tribe that wants to help sponsor this film. It's a very funny film, but it also deals with a couple of issues. It deals with the mascot issue and veterans returning from war. So those are the two issues it deals with. So we call it a dramedy. So it's got a lot of drama, but the main focus is comedy. It's about this one Native American who's on the comedy club circuit, and he's going around to comedy clubs while he's dealing with this inner conflict of his brother who commits suicide, who was a veteran of the Afghanistan war. And so he's dealing with this guilt that he wasn't there for his brother after the war, but it's done in a comical way because he's trying to become a comedian. So there's a lot of funny comedy, but then there's some tough subjects that we deal with regarding veterans of war, especially Native American veterans, and then also the mascot issue, because in his comedy routine, he throws in this whole mascot issue, which mixes in there. So it's done in a pretty funny way.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm trying to see, I'm going through my Rolodex, who are my little casino tribal friends? Where y'all at? I can't wait. I believe it and I see it.
Yeah.
It'll be the next smoke signals.
I hope so. We have a great director. Dom Most is going to direct. I'm producing, and plus I wrote a good percentage of the script, along with Dennis Burke, who is my other writer on the script. And we have a film company from New York that's been pushing it around the film industry. So it's been seen by Netflix, had it for a while, deciding if they were going to do it. Sony Films had it. Columbia had it. So there are, but the main thing is that all these groups say this is a great script, but we don't know if we want to take on the Indigenous story. It's because every Indigenous film in some way deals with some political issue. It always becomes politicized.
But it is a political issue to an extent.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
So that breaks my heart, though. So you have something amazing. You're creative. You're incredible. It's new. It's unique. Blah 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 blah. And it's too Indigenous.
Well, no, it's not that it's too
Oh, I'm
Indigenous.
sorry. It's too political.
It's that,
but we can watch the same people dry hump in every television show or movie over and over again. But we can't take a moment to honor the Native veterans that come home and have problems. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm all mad about it.
Don't worry, it'll get made.
Yeah, one way or another. Just tell me where to go. Just give me a name at Sony and I'll get your movie made. Stop crying, Sony man. Just finish writing the check. You can write it out to me and Kohler if you want. Love it. And you have held on to these dreams. You have not given up. You are still trying. And that's inspiring to me.
Perseverance. That's what you have to do. If you want to make a movie, you really have to persevere. You have to keep pushing the movie. You can't give up.
It's hard though.
Yeah.
Being told a lot of times you start to think, okay, well, maybe I'm just, And it is inspiring that 8, 10 years later, you're like, this movie is going to be made. My actors are aging in front of me, but this will get made. Soon it's going to be a 72-year-old native trying to be a comedian. Changes the dynamic, but it still works.
Yeah.
No, I believe in you. So on native ground, LA Skins Fest and
Vision.
Native Visions Film Festival, these online film festivals. So do me a favor, tag me in everything I need for tomorrow, and do me another favor. If you can get those links on native ground, it would make all the
Okay.
questions I have to answer so much easier.
Okay. Great.
I'm excited. So Kohler has been a hit. We're gonna pump her for a minute.
Oh, great.
I've been playing Columbus Has a Big Butt very often, and everybody loves it. So I don't know how we release that, or like do an anniversary edition, or something has to happen because people are obsessed. I get more questions on what was that Columbus song. And I was like, the one about the butt. Yeah, it was awesome. And nobody realizes it was an 8-year-old.
Yeah, it was, and we recorded it in 2006, so it's old. We did it with like Garage Band, before we even knew how to do, the more intense recording. So we really, maybe it's time to re-record it with a.
I'm sorry, but it is stupid. It is hilarious. We all need it. I guess there's a video to it.
Oh yeah, there's a video.
So people were telling me about they watched the video, like all this Columbus Has a Big Butt stuff. So I told Coley, I said, listen, I know you want to be a singer-songwriter and you got a new album and you're an intelligent, articulate woman, but Columbus Has a Big Butt is going to be the only thing that we all remember. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It is catchy.
So Rise, I love it. I am playing that Don't Abuse the Medicine literally the past 3 weeks,
Oh,
or
nice.
since Indigenous Peoples Day, since
Nice.
it popped up, and this is a jam. Kohler, your kid, your beautiful, amazing, talented child, new album Better, available on KoleyKohler.com. Been playing her music, not because I feel like I have to, or I'm desperately plugging you guys, but I am so proud and honored that I get to showcase and show you guys off and be like, I know them.
Thanks.
So it's a big deal. And so are there awards at these online skin fests?
Yes,
Are
they
are
do
they
have
just,
awards. We
okay.
haven't been notified if we've been nominated or not.
Well, I don't know, because with the being online now, how they, if they were still doing the awards.
Yeah, they
And then
have
I don't want to rig them. Can we
they have
get Russia to
online
hack them?
film. They have an online film festival. I mean, online film awards. So you can like zoom in to the awards show.
Can you vote? Or is it still their judges?
I think it's their judges. Yeah.
It's too political. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. So if any like winnings happen or there's some big let us know, and we'll share the link so we can watch you accept the award and cry and be played off.
Oh, cool. All right, great.
So what do they do? Like mail you a picture of your Oscar and then you just hold it up to your Zoom and give your speech? I mean, what? Can I rent half of a tux? No, the top half, dummy,
That's all you need.
It doesn't even have a back. It's like a hospital gown.
It's a clip-on.
I got to stop. It's so good. Well, Jack Kohler, I so appreciate your last minute time. I believe and am behind everything that you have done, you are doing, and you are about to do. And one of these days, I'm gonna get weasel my way into one of your productions. Just one.
Okay.
Even if I'm an extra, like washing dishes, I'll do it.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well, you take care of yourself, and I look forward to the wins, and I'm going to figure out how to internet my way to watch these films.
Okay,
These
great.
short films. So they're in the short film category, in case people are wondering.
Yes.
And we're looking again for, I had it in front of my face, the MMIW. What are the names again?
Lead the Way.
Okay.
Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women.
Okay.
And Intrepidus.
If you're old and if you're strong enough to watch Intrepidus.
It is scary. There's like 3 main scenes that are scary.
So there's fight or flight. And when I watch scary films and I get really like freaked out, I'm a punch kicker. So I just start flailing when something scares me. So none of my cousins want to sit next to me
Yeah.
because they get, and for some reason people think I'm tough and I'm not, but they all follow me. Like I am not brave. I am just pushed into the front. So there you go. It's a little bit more on how weak and woman I am. I'm just so fragile, Jack. I'm just so fragile. All right. Well, you have a wonderful night.
Okay, you too.
I appreciate your time.
Thanks,
I
Jen.
see you, Jack. I see you. Nirvana.
Take care.